We are live in Chicago at the United Opticians Association Leadership Conference.
I never wanted to have somebody else set my journey or have somebody else set or limit what I could do and my abilities. That was the first time I've heard of a blind person. I felt bad for her and I felt a sense of why. And I grabbed her hand. I said, I'm going to tell you everything that I see and I'll be your eyes. Terrence, I never knew what caused her blindness. Right? But I knew what I wanted to become. I knew I wanted to make a difference.
So what was it, P, that was in you that you're like, I don't want to just stop at becoming an optician. I want to go to become on to a master optician.
Thinking back to my childhood, thinking about the struggle, thinking about how I wanted to be the best because when I was growing up, that hurt my self-esteem a lot. And trying to break through that image of being less. And master opticians are the top of our profession.
You just become the chairman of the board of the American Board of Opticianry.
My goals are to try to unify the profession, to make sure that whether you're an optician in one state and you travel to another state, that definition is not only a protected title, but also it's the same definition. It's ubiquitous. And so that's a lot of weight on my shoulders.
What do you think the biggest threat to opticianry there is over the next decade or so?
So the biggest threat, once again, is us. Not seizing on the moment of unifying the profession and defining what that is more broadly across the country.
In an unlicensed state, could I say that individual could have been in one profession one day and then the next week they're now an optician?
Absolutely true. And what's concerning, even dog groomers, they have more requirements for licensure than an optician does in a non-licensed state. So that should make people really think about that.
So everyone, welcome back to a very, very special episode of Eye Conversations. We are live in Chicago at the United Opticians Association Leadership Conference. And today I have the optician of all opticians. He's not going to say that, but I'm giving him his flowers. The king of opticianry, my friend, my brother, Phernell Walker. What's up, P?
Hey, great
to see you, man.
Great to see you. Yeah, glad to be here.
Oh, so thank you for having me. Thank you for having me at the URA. Yesterday I got here and man, you're not a celebrity.
Well,
you're not a celebrity. We can't walk 5 feet without being stopped by it. We stop. Someone wants to, oh, is that Phernell? Yeah. A selfie, a picture, or just want to talk to you about some legislation or maybe something issue they're having with their practice. How does it feel? Does it feel a little surreal that you've made such a strong name for yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. Sometimes it does feel surreal. And it's good to know that people are out there and they care and they want to engage and they want to go through that process, but it does feel surreal at times. Yeah, for sure.
I could imagine. Yeah, I could imagine. So before we get talking about you, I'd be remiss. Talk to me a little bit about the UOA. What is the mission here at a conference like this and why should opticians be here?
Yeah, so the United Opticians Association, or UOA, is an association that's really designed to bring opticians together and advance the profession. If you take a look at opticianry, we don't even have a agreed upon title of what that means or what that definition really means. And so the UOA seeks to change that and really bring opticianry together, whether you're, in a smaller state, bigger state, if you're out west, north, south, east, west, regardless of where you are.
Amazing. So this conference is it mostly about legislation? Is it mostly about advancing the profession? What is the leadership conference really about?
The conference itself is all of the above. So at these conferences, we talk about legislative issues. We talk about issues that states are having individually, and then collectively, what can we do to advance the profession? And so it also gives us a chance to network and for people to come and lead in their individual communities and let their voice be heard. And so there's a saying that we have is one voice, one vision, one UOA, one opticianry.
Listen, we're here to talk a lot about you. You and I have known each other,
long time.
About 10 years now.
Or more.
I think 10 years. Here's a question I ask all my guests. Do you remember when we first met? Do you remember that story? I know it. I remember. So it was probably one of the other shows like Vision Expo. It was. Yeah, Vision Expo West. Oh, yeah, that's okay. Maybe it was New York. Yeah, that was Vision Expo West. Okay, you got to remind me. Okay. So at the time, I was at the Vision Council. You were leading the opticianry program at that time on the conference advisory board. You still have quite a big. Yeah. So I knew you because your headshots were on the website, and I saw this is before Zoom, so we had conference calls.
Right. Yes, we did.
We should get back to that, by the way. So we had conference calls and everything. So you and I were like, texting and a phone. Oh, we have to meet. So I get to Vision Expo West, and I see from a distance that you were on the phone.
Probably.
We had a phone, right? Yeah. So you and I made eye contact. And I gave you, the brother nod, right? And then later on, you text me like, "Hey, was that you in the hallway?" I was like, "Yes." He's like, I never met you, but you look like you had some kind of authority."
Yeah, that has been a while. Wow, been quite a journey since.
Yeah,
and a good journey.
Yeah, and then since then we've become good friends.
Absolutely.
We worked on projects. You've been part of a few of my boards. Thank you for that. My scholarship, and so just thank you for just being an amazing friend. These past 10 years. I really appreciate
Likewise.
I really appreciate you.
Likewise, too.
And I've gotten to know you, and I've gotten to hear a lot of your story, and I think that's so important. People see, Phernell Walker, Master Optician. They see you as a speaker. They see you as honestly, an industry influencer because you are influential in the profession and in the industry. But with my guests, I always like to go back, before they were that person, before you were Phernell at the titles. Let's go back to maybe Phernell, the young man.
Yeah.
So now you told me that, you grew up on, very humble means.
Yes.
You want to take us back to how that was growing up?
Yeah, I grew up in St. Petersburg, Florida. If you'll remember, my mother was a Head Start school teacher.
Wow.
My father passed away when I was quite young. And so those were difficult times, for my mom, my brother and my sister.
Yeah.
And, difficult times and just trying to survive and get through day by day.
Yeah. And you were also a Head Start.
Yes. And I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Being a Head Start kid and coming home and being a latchkey kid at that too.
Wow. Yeah. Now explain to everyone who does not know what a Head Start kid is. What is a Head Start kid?
Yeah. So Head Start is a program that is designed to give kids a head start in life, kids that have socioeconomic, disparities. And so Head Start's a great program where they take kids before they go to school, pre-first grade, and they allow them to learn some skills, basic things, and ensure they have those skills so they're more successful in school and they're going to be more likely to be successful. It started I believe, in late 1960s.
Wow, yeah. I'm very familiar with Head Start.
Yes,
it's a lot of great things in the community.
Yeah,
and amazing roster of graduates, from the Head Start program. But you were a latchkey kid. You're a Head Start kid. Your father passed away when you were young. Your mom basically raised you as a single mother. And, unfortunately, your father passed away. Do you feel like these experiences shaped you into the man you are today?
Definitely. Because what it's really done for me is it's basically shown me to persevere, have that perseverance to never give up. And there's always a brighter tomorrow. There's always a brighter future. And no matter what life hits you with, you can come back. You can set your own journey. You can set your path, regardless. And we all make appointments for the future. And those appointments that I made to be successful today were set about many years ago, So that really gives you a certain mindset.
Yeah. Do you feel like your mom, having now to raise a son, without her husband who had now passed away, she didn't expect that. Do you think watching your mom had any effect on that view you have right now?
Absolutely. Watching my mother, take care of us, having her Head Start job during the day, and then at night she had a second job.
Wow.
And what that really taught me is that you have to survive, and you've got to be able to find a way, regardless of your difficulties, to be successful, to take care of your family, family coming first. So she sacrificed a lot. She sacrificed a lot for myself, my sister, my brother, and I could never, repay that.
Mom of 3 children.
3 children.
Wow.
Yes, yes.
And she was working and going to school.
Working and going to school. Yes.
And raising 3 children.
And raising 3 children.
Wow, your mom's a boss.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. She was. She was. That spirit of everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to move forward. Everything's going to, work out. I've always had that. And I've always thought to myself, I've got to be able to do better. So that psychologically had an effect on me that I didn't want to live a life of a struggle, So I believe in working hard and working smart in order to climb out of that, climb out of struggle.
Yeah. It's interesting because, my father worked 3 jobs growing up. My mom worked 2 jobs, and all I saw was them constantly working all the time, right? It wasn't even to like provide this lavish lifestyle for us. It was just to put food on the table.
Yeah, yes, the basics.
I talked about one day, people don't understand when you're poor, like how much food is important because we don't know when it's going to come and what quantity is going to come.
Absolutely.
And growing up, it's like we want to make sure we're never living that life. It's almost like, I don't know, for you, it's almost like a fear of mine almost.
Yes.
Sometimes. Like we're never living that life again. You ever get to that point or think that?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And so that's a driving force for me because I never wanted to have to have somebody else set my journey or have somebody else set or limit what I could do and my abilities. So I believe that we have the capacity to fulfill our journey, to reach that self-actualization. And part of that was those early struggles or early on struggles, that I experienced.
Yeah. When you were in school, did you ever get to a point or did you ever experience people trying to set your journeys for you?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially growing up as a poor Black kid in the South,
right?
The opportunities that were put in front of me or the options, were things like, oh, Phernell, you could be a great bus driver or, you could, do some other type of job and so forth, which is fine, because we need good bus drivers.
Shout out to all the bus drivers for sure.
Yeah, shout out for the bus drivers. I mean, they work hard and they're important.
Right.
Everyone's important, but I wanted more for myself. And I didn't want somebody else to define me. I wanted to set that course and really try to reach the stars.
Yeah.
Try to reach those stars.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing, Pete.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So I want to talk about, when you decided now your journey to opticianry. And I love that story, involving your babysitter, May.
Yes.
That brought you into the journey of opticianry.
Yeah.
And I can't even retell the story. I love for you just to tell how this babysitter really planted the foundation to your journey to where you are today.
Yeah. So when I used to get off my Head Start school bus, myself as a Head Start kid, I would run to my neighbor's house who would help take care of me in the evenings because my mom was going to junior college, is what it was called back then, community college, to become a Head Start school teacher.
Yeah.
And so I would knock on the door, knock, 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 knock. May, it's me, Phernell. I was probably 5 years old, somewhere around there. And she'd say, come on in. And immediately when I would come in, she would say, are you hungry? And growing up as a poor kid, you're always hungry. Like we were just saying, you're always hungry. So I said, absolutely, I'm hungry. So she always, would make a small, like a sandwich or something for me. And then before it would get dark, she'd say, do you want to go out back and play and so forth? So I'd go out back and play in her garden, and then she'd come out and I'd hold her hand and we'd walk around her garden. It was a beautiful garden. Just beautiful flowers everywhere. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, this is just perfect. And she lived there with her sister. And one day, one profound day, I will never forget. She said, which one is your favorite out of all the plants and flowers and trees and so forth that she had back there? And I ran over to this beautiful red flower. I think it was a hibiscus, maybe, And I said, this one right here. And I pointed at it. And she said, oh, I can't see it. So I took the flower, looking back, I shouldn't have taken it off of her, but I took the flower and I ran it over to her and I put it right in front of her face. And I said, this one right here. And she said, I still can't see it. And I said, you can't see this? And she said, no, I can't see it. I said, she said, because I'm blind.
Wow.
And I didn't know.
Wow.
I didn't know what that meant. She says, I can't see anything. I said, you can't see me? And I kind of went like this, like this.
Yeah.
And she said, no, Phernell, I can't see anything. I'm blind. And I said, what's it like being blind? In my naiveness as a kid.
Sure.
So that was the first time I've heard of a blind person. I felt bad for her, and I felt a sense of why. I don't think I asked the question why, but I just said, well, that's okay. And I grabbed her hand. I said, I'm going to tell you everything that I see, and I'll be your eyes.
Wow.
And I held her hand. We walked around the garden, and I described every flower in there. And I described everything. And it must have been her sister that she lived with that planted all these flowers. So that went on for quite a while, for quite some time. One day I came home and ran over to her house, right? Knocked on the door. She didn't answer. Knocked on the door again. She didn't answer. So I thought, okay, she must not be home. Ran to my house. I was a latchkey kid, so if she wasn't home, I just was told to go in the house and lock the door.
Yeah. Yes.
Secure the latch.
Yes.
And my mom was home. I was surprised. I said, hey, Mom, you're home. And she said, I'd like you to sit down, Phernell. And I thought she was going to say, tell me about your day or something.
Right.
She said, I've got some sad news. Your friend May has passed away. She's gone.
Wow.
So I just remember I cried. And I wanted to know where she went, because that's my friend, right? She was probably close to 80. She was in her 70s.
Okay.
And she said, she's a star now. And I said, I really want to see her. And she said, well, tonight we're going to go outside. We're going to look up at the sky, and you're going to see her. And I waited for it to get dark. I kept looking outside. Is it going to get dark? So finally got dark. We went outside. And I said, which one is she? Because the stars were everywhere. And she said, she's that one right there, the one above her house. And I waved. And I said, May, can you see me now? Did you get new eyes?
Oh, man.
Yeah, so that kind of really brought me to understand that people are different.
Sure.
Even though, our family was different than other people, it really showed me that not everybody can see.
Yeah.
I didn't really know that at a time. Terrence, I never knew what caused her blindness, right? But I knew what I wanted to become. I knew I wanted to make a difference. I didn't know how, but I knew the what. That I want to make a difference somewhere, somehow, in eye care, and that was my journey, or the start of that journey.
Wow. So a lot of times people will say that they came into eye care out of passion. But you came out of eye care out of compassion, really.
Wow.
Which is, very, 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 special.
Thank you.
Phernell, when you speak out of passion. But if anyone can sit down and have a one-on-one conversation with you, you can see it's much bigger than that. Even though you're not in patient care on a day-to-day as much anymore, but you really enjoy your profession.
I love being a master optician, and I love this profession because it's the only profession where you get to change people's lives and see their face light up because they can see, and you can basically use your hands to craft something for another person, and they appreciate that, right? And you can make a difference, and it doesn't take a lot to do that. And it's also a profession where it can be fun. There's the fashion component, the functionality of the glasses, the fit of the glasses, what I call the 3 Fs, So those 3 Fs make it a lot of fun. And you get to meet a lot of people, learn a lot about people and so forth. And that option was never presented in front of me when I was in high school or middle school and so forth. And unfortunately, I didn't really think about that and come back full circle, back to that May moment until later. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you feel like if this option was presented to you at school, because your options were being a bus driver, being other professions that are more blue collar professions, do you feel that if you adopted the profession earlier in life, it would have changed your trajectory?
I think my trajectory would have ended up at the same place, but I think I would have started sooner, and I think about how much more I could have done. to reach it and to find out about this wonderful profession of eye care.
Yeah.
But absolutely.
Yeah. First of all, before we go there, there's opticianry, right? But you've decided to become a master optician. What is a master optician?
A master optician is an individual that has mastered opticianry. That individual goes before the American Board of Opticianry Board of Directors. They have to pass the master's exam, is what I had done at that time back in the 1990s, in 1997 to be exact. And I wrote a master's thesis, did a lot of research, and I had to show that I had mastered my craft and mastered ophthalmic optics, which encompasses things like physical optics, geometric optics, lens design. It encompasses things, related to light and lenses and substrates and design and much more,
I think I read that there's only about a couple hundred master opticians in the world.
Yes, that's true. And there used to be a few more than that, but there's more that are either retired or passed away than achieve that level, because it's not easy for just anybody just to become a master optician. So it's a great honor and great point of self-actualization in my life. So
what was it, P, that was in you that you're like, I don't want to just stop at becoming an optician. I want to go to become on to a master optician, which, what do you say, 90+% of opticians do not go that far. But you decided you wanted to take it all the way to becoming a master optician. What was it that drove you to that point?
Thinking back to my childhood, thinking about the struggle, thinking about how I wanted to be the best, because when I was growing up, that hurt my self-esteem a lot, because I was, growing up as a minority in the South, Black gentleman growing up, and always typecast to be certain things, right? So that kind of formed my opinion. I had a low self-esteem, and to overcome that self-esteem, I always felt I had to be the best. I played trumpet also, and my dad was a trumpet player as well.
Oh, wow.
So, but I played trumpet for fun in a jazz band, so that I try to be the best. Or if I'm competing against something, I try to be the best. And part of that, I attribute back to that struggle and trying to break through that image of being less. And master opticians are the top of our profession. And it is a profession, not an industry. It's a profession. We're the top of our profession. And so that's why I aspired to be a master optician, because I wanted to be the best and help the people the best and understand everything. So it's a deep drive within me.
Absolutely. I think it kind of goes back, I think, as Black men or even Black women growing up, we're always told by our parents, you have to work 4 times as hard to be seen as
average.
Exactly. Like, for example, like when we started, my agency at EYECON, and, my team will tell you, we're like, we can't go at the level of our peers. We have to go much higher to be seen at that level.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, just to be at least psychologically
correct,
and in reality, just to be seen as equal, or that you belong in that room. A lot of times I'll go to conferences, not so much today, but years ago, I'd go to conferences, and there were very few people that looked like us. And then people would come up and, introduce themselves. And this is very, very early on. And so it's kind of sad to see that, because I'm a person that wants to be all inclusive. We should, be able to offer this great profession of eye care to everybody.
Absolutely.
But I think there's the challenge of awareness, especially in the Black community as well. So missed opportunities there for sure.
So as you were you are,
thank you.
You just become the chairman of, the chairman of the board of the American Board of Opticianry.
That's correct.
How does that feel?
Still settling in, still setting in. Yes.
Talk about being the best. You are now at the top of when it comes to, when you think about professional opticianry, you are the chairman of the governing body of opticianry.
Yes. It's an honor. It's a huge honor, and it's an honor that I feel the weight and the pressure to make sure that I'm advancing the entire profession of opticianry, which encompasses about, 76,000 people. Wow. So I'll say that again, 76,000 people that I help set the direction through, through my work on the UOA as well, United Opticians Association, but as also, more importantly, the chair of the American Board of Opticianry, ensuring that we have a defensible exam to make sure that people are certified opticians, board certified opticians, and the legislative means, and the list goes on and on and on. And being the first African-American, the first Black chairperson, it's a lot of weight and responsibility.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. I want to talk about that. I mean, you're the first Black chair of the ABO.
Correct.
What kind of pressure are you setting for yourself? Are you receiving from others? Whether it might be people of color or people not of color?
Yes. I mean, that's a great question. That pressure is almost being a great ambassador, making sure that I represent my profession, opticianry, as a professional, making sure that I'm thinking of everybody within the entire profession, whether you're just entering the profession or whether you are, at the end of your profession, getting ready to retire, thinking about the scope of practice and how can we expand the scope of opticianry to practice to our full education level. Just to give you, for instance, I graduated from Hillsborough College of Opticianry in Tampa,